Welcome to the No Grow Go podcast. I'm Matt Jordan. I'm the senior pastor here at First Methodist Church Enterprise, and we're so excited that you are joining us today and excited for what we're going to have on our episode today. We have the Assistant Executive Director, Miss Amanda Simmons, here with us from the Christian Mission to share about their mission and share about their ministry, what they do, who they are, and just to share about ways you can support. And so we're excited, especially as we begin this season in Lent, of ways that we can continue to serve and deny ourselves, find those avenues of service and ways we can increase our service in the community. So, Amanda, tell us a little bit about yourself, things that you find important for us to know, cool hobbies if you have them, anything like that.
So I've been with the Christian Mission officially as a paid employee since 2016. I've worked in most all areas of the organization, from the retail to the administrative office, everywhere. I actually came to the mission back in 2015 through their New Life Recovery program as a participant through their program. I graduated their residential program, went into their aftercare part of the program, and from there, I've just kind of planted roots at the organization. You know, I just know how special and much God uses the organization and the ministry to touch people's lives. And so I'm honored and just blessed to be able to give back and be a part of it. So
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, you know, most folks know the mission has a couple storefronts downtown, one in Geneva and Elba. And Crossover is in Op. Okay. But there's no store there, right? So for a lot of folks, that's all they know about the mission. What is it that the mission does sort of on a day-to-day basis that makes it relevant in our communities?
So, and yes, most people they think of Christian Mission, they think of our bargain centers, but our bargain centers are just a way for us to produce revenue to support our four major ministries, which are food services, where we prepare and provide 3 hot meals a day to people that walk up to like transits, and we serve 3 meals a day to all our residents, both in our recovery program and in our shelter. We have a food pantry, and then we also deliver 3 hot meals a week to elderly, shut-in, disabled in Coffee County. Another ministry is our benevolence office that handles emergency situations such as rental, utility assistance, medication, gas vouchers, pretty much any kind of emergency need an individual may have. We try to help get them through that emergency situation. We have our 72-hour emergency shelter, which is, for people that we do have some qualifications for that shelter because of our recovery program. But those that can pass a warrants check with the city and a drug screen can go into our 72-hour emergency shelter, where our benevolence counselor will take that time to evaluate the situation, and just depending on if the individual is willing to work a shelter program, then it can be extended, because the goal is to get them back on their feet, get them where they need to be so they can be self-sufficient. And then the ministry that's near and dear to my heart is our New Life Recovery program, which is a 6-month residential drug treatment program that teaches the biblical principles about God, what God's character is, how we can be a new creation through Him. And so there's 3 phases of that program. We have a pre-admit phase where individuals can come as long as we have beds open, where they can wait for a class.
Right.
And they'll get some one-on-one counseling. They'll start getting an introduction to what the Bible is, how to read it. Then we have phase 2, which is our residential program. That is where they get a certificate. That's that 6-month program. And that program, they're really trying to minister to the whole person. We believe that addiction is the root of a sin problem. So we teach them the 12 steps from a biblical perspective. We help and encourage adult education. We partner with Enterprise State Community College, offering work readiness. There's all kinds of courses, measurement courses, So just to get them confident and prepared to go back into the community, and hopefully that they'll want to go on and enroll into Enterprise State Community College. We help with all vital records, because most of these people, when they're showing up, they are showing up with just the clothes on their back. So we are there to give them everything from their physical needs to their spiritual needs to a support system. We help them get introduced to different churches in our community so they can build a church community. The whole point is so that when they leave, they are truly a new person in Christ, and they're able to contribute and give back and be a part of our community.
Yeah, that's awesome. And everything you guys do is so encouraging to me, both as a pastor and as a community member. And I've had the privilege to see that as we meet every Wednesday with the New Life class. And I tell you what's so funny, especially this class that's there right now. There's one girl in there, and a couple of weeks ago I came by and she said, we have like 3,784 hours.
Not the countdown.
Yeah. I was like, not to count. And she was like, we've got 4.5 months and 100 and something days, and then there's one person in the back that says, "Speak for yourself. I'm a pre-admit," And so every week when I go in on Wednesday, Amy and I split the teaching up, and every week when I go in, I'm like, "All right, what's our count? Where we at?" And some of them are just so appreciative, and you can always tell the early part of the class, because they're just like, "Man, we got so many days left." And some of the others, they already know, like, I'm going to aftercare. Yeah. I know exactly what I'm doing, and they have put that in perspective for them. And I get to just hang out with them and enjoy them, and I've got to keep up with a lot of them through the years that I've been here. And matter of fact, we hired Chico to be our maintenance person on staff, and he does a phenomenal job. He's even done some projects at my house here recently.
Yeah.
But it's so great to see the true transformative nature of what you all do, and that's part of our mission as a church, is to transform the world with the good news of Jesus. That's what we exist for. And I think we can look across the community, and I'd be hard pressed to find another ministry than the Christian Mission that exhibits how to do that, both in a teaching aspect of things and practicality through the New Life class.
That's right.
and through other things that you all do of meeting the needs for people, but especially through New Life, all of those different phases.
You're absolutely right. And phase 3, I forgot. I didn't forget. I got sidetracked. It is our aftercare program. And for me, I know personally from my walk, that's really where the rubber met the road for me, because it was an opportunity for me to really know that I was ready for a change, and I was willing to do whatever. And the community support and the people that I met through Christian Mission, and just the different devotion leaders and churches that came and poured in, really gave me a true picture and a true sense of what community and love and support was. Because when I came into the program, I couldn't even look anybody in the eye. All I had was just all that shame of my past. But, because of the principles and the things that are taught and poured into those individuals, they're able to take what they ran from and hid from and use it as a victory.
Yeah.
Because that's what, once they are truly covered in the blood of the Lord, it is a victory.
That's
and all
it.
that is gone. And it's great to see people like Chico move on, and we've got a bunch of churches that have really rallied around our students, and it's beautiful to watch and see. So.
Yeah, and it's beautiful to be a part of. And I tell you what, I was listening to a podcast. I don't know if you listen to a lot of Kerry Newhoff, but he had John Ortberg on there the other day, and I'll send it to you if you haven't seen it. But John Ortberg was talking about how the 12 steps of AA is a discipleship method that the church had given to AA in its early formations, and the church has forgotten it and needs to put it back, because those 12 steps are what are they there for? To transform someone's life, to help you through that transformation. What is discipleship? To transform someone's life in Jesus. And so I think that the mission, the mission of the mission is the mission of the church in the way that we see transformation take place. And I think it's so crucial and impactful the way that local churches can partner with the mission in doing so. And it's something that most people don't quite understand. And our church is is pretty involved with the way that we
Yes.
handle our mercy fund, and we're thankful through our CR ministry that you all are gracious enough to bring some of the New Life people over, and so we see a little more hand in hand than what a lot of people in the community see. Because a lot of people in the community, they see the Christian mission stores, and they think that's all you do.
That's it.
Or you just hand out some canned foods when people need it, but they don't understand the principles in place. They don't understand how that all operates. So if you had to tell someone that came up to you and said, Amanda, I want you to tell me one thing about that the mission does that I don't know about and why it's important, what would it be?
I just think that, like you said, most people, when they think of the Christian mission, they think of the thrift store. And what I don't think a lot of people really understand and truly realize is even that bargain store is a ministry. That when you're shopping there, you are shopping because you are supporting everything we do, because it is because of those stores we're able to offer so many services and be able to have a bigger impact on our community. And even the work in the warehouse, like these men and women that come through, or people that are in our shelter that volunteer, they're learning what it means to be part of a ministry. And when they get that feeling and knowing that they're giving back and what they're doing is bigger than their self, and they truly get that, and you see that light bulb go off behind, in their eyes, it's something that's, you can't really put it into words how special it is.
Yeah.
And the people are just really sold out to it. That's why there's so many people that work for us that have been there for 30 years, 28 years.
Right.
Myself, I know my husband's like, okay, have you ever thought about leaving? I'm just like, no, absolutely not. This is where the Lord has called me, and I am here. I am here until he tells me to leave. And I just think it's just great. And like you said, a lot of people don't know. They know, okay, they give away some bad groceries here, or you can go there and get your utility bills paid. But even down to our benevolence counselor, Lisa Eller, she takes those opportunities of those emergency situations to really show what it means to be somebody that is just expressing God's love and praying with these people. And because usually when people are coming and they're needing in those emergency situations, they're not always the happiest people.
Yep.
They're broken. And to be able to walk up to them and pray for them and to love on them, even in our bargain stores, it's just wonderful. It's great, especially in the culture and the environment of our society today. It's just refreshing.
If MySpace was still a thing, Lisa would be on my top 10 friends. I think Lisa and I talk every day.
She's wonderful.
She sure is. And Lisa and I handle most of the benevolence that comes through our office. Anything that's more detailed than just a typical referral that we send. But Lisa will call me. Even if another staff member sends a referral, Lisa will call me, and so I said, "Well, hold on, I don't know who the word you're talking about. In just a second." But we always find a way, and for Lisa and I both, and it's so encouraging that the mission does this. Is we always want to give someone the benefit of the doubt,
That's right.
and always giving second and second thousandth chances to people who have either received benevolence in a time of need, or times that are real close together, or whatever it may be. And there's stipulations and boundaries and things that have to be in place to protect the ministry and spread funds out as much as we can. But the thing that is so encouraging to me is that the mission always wants to find a way to help people.
Yeah.
Even if it means, I learned this as a RA when I was at college. People over process. And sometimes that's what you have to do. Is your processes are in place for a reason.
That's right.
Every now and then someone comes by and you just take a chance on them.
Yeah.
And you just like, look, I know I shouldn't do this, but the Lord shouldn't forgive us.
That's right.
And so we're going to just share that. And one of the things that I think is important for people to know about the mission that they don't understand is y'all are not a federal funded program.
No, we do not receive any federal funding. We do participate in FEMA, the Emergency Food and Shelter Funding. But if you follow that ad in the paper every year and a half or whenever it posts, that money shrinks every year. And so we're talking about $3,000 or $4,000. But the majority of our revenue comes from the proceeds from our bargain store. So people just really don't understand when they're donating, they're cleaning out their closet or their garage, how important that stuff is when they bring it to us and donate through our warehouse. What something that might be considered junk to them, we clean, we repurpose it, and we make it just as valuable as we possibly can so that it can be a treasure to somebody else in their home. And then about 68 to 70% of all the revenue produced through the bargain stores go back in our ministries. And then the rest of our funding comes from contributions like Wiregrass United Way, all our local churches, individuals. So it is, I'm telling you, I have seen, anybody that deals with ministry knows there's always a bigger need than there is money in the bank.
Yep.
And I have seen time and time again, God just perform miracles when we didn't know how we were going to be able to do it. Go outside and somebody's there with a check. And it's just, God says every time I have, my bank account's much bigger than you can ever imagine. So we've been blessed in that way. So
that's awesome. So let's talk some numbers. So when you think about, and just approximations here, so don't feel like, Matt, you didn't tell me about numbers questions now.
I gotcha.
When you say 68 to 70% of the revenue from the bargain store funds the ministry, what does it mean to fund the ministry? Approximately how much do y'all do monthly with benevolence? And benevolence could be New Life, benevolence with walk-ups, those sorts of things. Monthly, what's the money you give out into the community?
So last year in 2024, we spent over $700,000 in benevolence assistance, and that consists of all our ministry, our food ministry, our benevolence ministry, our New Life recovery program. Let me tell you, that is our most expensive ministry. It is the ministry that is least supported in the community, because if somebody sends money in and it's designated for food or shelter, that's where it gets allocated to. But our New Life recovery program, it runs close to $300,000 a year to operate, and with the exception of them paying a $20 background check, it's free to the individual that comes. So that's why our bargain stores are so very vitally important. But last year I know we served over 70,000 meals, both on site, people that walk up, our hot meals to the homebound that we deliver 3 days a week. If you've not volunteered and went and rode on one of those routes, let me tell you, that is some moving stuff. When you see some of these individuals, it's the only contact they may have for the whole week. It might be the only meal they'll get until the next time we bring another meal. And it's they're just so excited to see you. They come to the door, you pray with them, you love on them, and it's just really a wonderful, wonderful ministry. So if 70,000 homebound meals. Meals
Meals. 70,000. There's 62,000 people in Coffee County, something like that. I know there's
Enterprise is like, I just looked it out, about 30,000.
Yeah. So, you could feed the city of Enterprise at least twice. And for people like me that take 2 plates, you could probably feed us at 2 times. That's insane. Because your paid staff is 10 people?
Our paid staff? No, we have 38 paid staff.
38 paid staff? But that includes the bargain workers.
That's everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
In Enterprise, Geneva,
and Elba.
Wow.
Yes,
My goodness gracious.
Yeah.
That's the fact that y'all can do that is just crazy to me.
I don't think people ever unless you're in that situation, and I know everybody goes through hardships, but it's something to come in the office and see a single mother that has to decide between paying a utility bill or being able to provide groceries for their kids, So that's one of the big things we want to make sure is to fill that gap and to help individuals so they don't feel so hopeless. And we try to handle and interact with each one of them and give them the attention and just the respect of like we would want to be treated if we had an emergency situation, we were
Right.
asking for help. And, and like you said, we partner with you guys and some other local churches, because the more we come together and partner, the bigger impact we can have on the community, the more we can reach, the more people we can reach. And so,
Yeah, absolutely. And I think us being all on the same team is so important. And I had we shared this. Gosh, we're on like close to number 30 podcasts, but around episode like 5 or 6, we had shared that the mission that we have to connect to as believers in Jesus is beyond ourselves, and that's the only way the church will be successful, when we commit to ministry together. I tell you, one of the best things from my life was going to a what they call interdenominational seminary, and Beeson Divinity in Birmingham is one. Asbury Theological Seminary, where I went, is one. And the reason I say that is I grew up Southern Baptist, and that was the only thing that I knew. And we were so Southern Baptist that when I was looking at going to colleges, they said, you just can't go to Southern Seminary. And I said, why is that? They said, they're a bunch of Calvinists. And I said, well, don't they believe in Jesus? It's little I knew then in 2012, but I've got some dear friends that work for Southern now and that attend there. But when I was looking at where to go to seminary, Beeson Divinity was real attractive to me, and I ended up going to New Orleans for a variety of reasons. But when I became Methodist, I transferred to Asbury. And the only thing we had to agree upon in our application was the Apostles' Creed. And that was the standard slate of Orthodox beliefs. And the first time my eyes were open to the significance of community ministry, I was sitting in a class, and it was the theology of John Wesley. And Jason Vickers was teaching it, and we were in the class, and there was someone who raised their hand that said they were part of the Salvation Army. And I was like the bargain stores, and they said, no, like the denomination, like I'm a pastor in the Salvation Army or whatever their term is. And I was just, I was like, okay, well, that's kind of weird. And one person was in there with a collar on. They were Anglican, most everybody there was Methodist, but there were a few others that were Lutheran. And we had one person that was a Baptist in there. And, everybody was just a whole pot of people.
Yeah.
And we had somebody from Porto, in Spain, and what I learned in that time of my life was, if we can agree on the basic beliefs of the church and the basic beliefs of the Bible, then we should be doing ministry together. Sunday morning may look different by the way we do sacraments or ordinances, or the way that we think we should preach in this translation or that one. But if we agree on Jesus, we agree on the Trinity, we agree on the resurrection, then we need to all get our hands dirty together.
That's right.
And that's what I love about the mission.
Yeah.
Especially in the way that y'all do the devotionals with different pastors from different churches, and the way that y'all have some students that we've got a few in this class, and one or two in the last class that would come to church with us on Sundays, and some that go to First Baptist, and others that go with their families when they have passes to leave. And it's just encouraging to see.
Yeah.
So the next thing I want to say is for the community that may not be serving in a local church, or that may be looking for a place for their small group or Sunday school class to serve, or just a run-of-the-mill community member. What are the needs right now of the mission that goes beyond churches and corporations? Like I know John Mitchell and them are doing their food drive.
Yes.
That's a huge thing. A lot of churches do some consistent support, but as far as individuals go or small groups, what are some of those needs that y'all have at the mission?
So we are always needing volunteer delivery drivers for our hot meals, because we do serve. Last check, I think it was 180 meals a week for just this Coffee County area. And it is typically volunteer driven, but when a volunteer is not able to make it, or, they're not, they step away, then staff has to do that. And, if you know anything about ministry, there is way more ministry than there is people. And so we're always needing people to volunteer to drive those routes, because we're going to make sure that those people receive their meals, but it's a time matter, getting the food cooked and delivered to them before keeping it safe to be able to serve to them. Like I said, we're always needing any volunteers in our pantry. We have events that we do throughout the year. Our pantry always needs volunteers. I just said that, didn't I?
You did. That's all right.
I'm so sorry.
Hey.
I just caught myself. Our New Life Recovery clients, they're always needing washing detergent, razors, shaving cream, deodorant, female products, just all kinds of things on that, because you got to remember, a lot of times when they come here, they have no family support. They're here on their own. And so we try to fill the gap in those areas. But the main part is volunteering for those hot meal routes, because it's 3 times a week, and we have 2 routes, and that's a lot for one person to volunteer. 3 times a week, it's about 2 hours to do the route. But we like to rotate it. People call in, have fill-in drivers. So
yeah. Goodness gracious, man! And I know that's a need that's always there. I mean, and look, as a pastor of a church, I get it. You've got staff, but there's too much ministry for staff to do. And you rely on volunteers, and people that are a part of your ministry, recipients of your ministry, at least, they suffer when you don't have adequate volunteers to participate. So you've heard it straight here from Amanda. You need to get your rear in the mission and start volunteering and start helping. Well, Amanda, we're coming up to our time here. What's one thing you want everyone to know about the mission? Just one thing that if you said, hey, look, you've got 30 seconds, tell me why you love the mission and why you need to support it. What do you say?
Just that the Christian mission is a place for everyone. It is here to help the community. Like you said, we are a non-denominational ministry. So as long as, we got that basic belief in Jesus Christ, we want to just show his love and be an example of what he calls us to help people in need. And just that, we've been around for 44 plus years, and we hope to be around 44 plus additional years. We want to continue to grow our programming. We would like to see more partnerships with the Christian mission. Just really, the sky is the limit.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, Amanda, thank you so much for being on here today. And we're looking forward to seeing you serve at the mission. And if you need a vehicle to drive, come by the church. We'll see if we'll hook you up with a church bus, and we will make it happen. So, Amanda, thank you for being on here today. Thank y'all for joining the Know, Grow, and Go today. Make sure to subscribe and make sure to share. Thank you for all that you do for us to support us. In Jesus' name, amen.